I'm going to call to order the Stillwater Utilities Authority meeting for December 18th, 2023. Several items on this consent docket. Trustees, questions, comments, or action on the consent docket?
Motion to approve consent docket.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve consent. Please vote. With a vote of 5-0, that consent docket is approved. Is Mr. Sitton here? There he is. I'm not sure if we gave you a heads up, Mr. Sitton, that we were going to move you guys forward on this one.
We were just out there.
Are you ready to go?
Yes.
All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and go to item 5. General orders. 5A is our Rural Water Advisory Board semi-annual report presented by Mr. Robert Sitton.
Thank you.
You could
I'm
pull the
Robert
mic down. Sorry, the mic.
Mic, okay. Is there a mic here? I'm Robert Sitton, Chairman of Stillwater. I forgot exactly what I was supposed to be Chairman of. Stillwater Rural Water Advisory Board. And we meet quarterly. And so my report, if you want to follow along with me, kind of looks like this. And I made my report a little bit differently this time because we have newer people that are on board, plus we have a new city manager, and so I want to welcome her. And of course, I think everybody else is the same except for our city manager. And I want to thank all the previous SUA members to helping us achieve what we have achieved in the past, and hopefully what we're going to achieve in the near future. My first report, I usually have the number of gallons in this one, the number of gallons billed, and the number of gallons that we use, showing water shortage and stuff like that. But I wanted to bring a little different report this time to update everybody as to how our system came about. And so that's on attachment 1, which is our history. And along with that history, it kind of tells you a little bit about how and why the city purchased us, and that the city was wanting to become regional water provider, and that is why I'm here. And from being a regional water provider, we wanted to have a little bit of representation. And so if you go to attachment number 2, then it kind of tells you what our responsibilities are as an advisory board, and why we meet and what we should be doing. And with that is the number of reports that has been done in the past, and I'm working with David Barth right now to get those reports current. There for a while you all have had a change in people coming in and out of our meetings, so some of our reports have been dropped. But David's doing a good job on getting that up to date for us, so in that way we can carry on with those reports. Does anybody have any questions up to that point as to our history and why we meet?
I don't see any questions, but I do appreciate that information. It's helpful for those of us who have not been around for the length of time that you guys have been serving. Right.
Most of you all don't know, how or why the city has even purchased us. But I've been trying to pull this report together and do these reports since 2010. So I welcome the new city manager because I've been through 2 others, previous managers. So you're the third one that I presented to. Our third attachment, which is a report that Stephen Mayo and I have kind of put together. We went on an exploration, and I would like to have him come up and quickly present that one, and then I will come back up and finish out my report. Okay, that's the one right there. Just leave that.
Okay. Yes, my name is Stephen Mayo, and just a little bit of who Stephen Mayo is that I'm an engineer, and I worked for Exxon for almost 11 years. I worked for ConocoPhillips for 28 years, and I worked around the world. And I'm a registered professional engineer in Oklahoma. And so this report is pretty much what I did as an engineer for those two companies, specifically around capacity enhancement. Everybody was always wanting capacity enhancement for nothing, basically. And so what we were trying to do is to find small steps that could be incrementally made within the water system, and also to find out where the Yost zone specifically was, we could enhance the water production to that zone. And so what we did is we tried to figure out where we stood within that Yost zone and also within the water system. The final conclusions are in the back, and we did find some small improvements that made some big differences in the overall production of water to the Yost zone and also to the entire water system. And so what I'd like to do is to say that we'd like to do this again at some point in the future. And I really appreciate the help the city employees gave us in going through this report. And in the final report, we negotiated almost every word that went into this report. So I really appreciate their help in putting this report out. And I thank you for allowing us to give this report to you. Do you have any questions on how the details of this report were put together?
Trustees?
Could you give us some examples of some of those small improvements that made a difference?
Well, I guess the biggest one was the pumps going to the Payne County Rural Water Corporation number 3 was there was a metering station at the pump, and it was rated for, I think, 200 amps or 100 amps, and all we needed to do was to call the CREC and up to 200 amps, and that's it. That's in here, and that didn't require any outlay of money from the city. I think that was upgraded for them. Another one was the pumps were backed up on their curve because they were burning out, and I think you all have updated some, have something that's due to be installed in February and have approved that. And I think that will allow for VFD changes, and that's relatively small money in terms of the money associated. Mm-hmm. And let me see. Refer back to here. Some of the more expensive items, though, is a water tower. Mm-hmm. That there's a lot of people in the zone that we're talking about that have water restrictions because of water pressure, mm-hmm. and that's an environmental concern.
Yeah. Mr. Mayor, we appreciate the report.
No. Okay.
Yeah. I want to make sure that I think
No.
I
just wanted to say I was almost done when I was trying to answer those questions. Well, and I do appreciate the city's help in getting this report together. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you being here.
And I'll finish up on my last attachment number 4. This is one that the city has seen ever since 2010, and this is the amended Exhibit C, which we signed a contract with the city with, and the items 1 through 32 that the city's supposed to be working down on, and as you can probably see on page 1 of that 6, some of the things were supposed to be done within the first 2 years, and they're still in need of, being addressed. And we go all the way down through certain ones. But what we're really wanting to push for right now is just like what Stephen had mentioned about the water tower, the water line in between the new pump station that you all are hopefully in the plans of doing. So then that way we can increase the pressure and availability of water out there, because we have people that's ready to build out there, ready to put more meters in, but we're limited. So if we're limited on meters, then that means that you're limited on income out there. Any questions?
Not at this time. I appreciate it.
So my recommendations on mine would be for the board to go ahead and approve and work with the city or work with our people that's back here behind us to continue those reports, giving us those reports. So then that way I can continue to bring forth the numbers that you'll see next time I bring as to water pressures and stuff like that. Please continue to work on the Yost pump station. That is in the works, just like what Stephen Mayo has said. And then work on our flushings. We want to make sure that all of our end of the lines get flushed as needed. And the city has been a little bit slow on some of that because of the fact that they haven't had the manpower to do that. And each one of our patrons, whenever theirs does get flushed, then we usually get a call thanking because they've got fresh water. Any questions for me?
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Appreciate the report.
Thank you.
I do have a couple of folks who are signed up to give public comment on this report. Mr. Bryce Campbell, you could come up and introduce yourself, and just as a reminder on comment on items not here for public hearing, you'll have 3 minutes to speak.
Okay. Well, thank you for allowing me to speak. Appreciate it. My name is Bryce Campbell, and I guess I'm just here as a citizen in the water district that he's speaking of, and just making some general comments. Anyways, regarding the Yost improvement project, and I'm also glad that we got the $39 million. I think that's for water projects. Is that right? Okay. Hopefully that goes a little further. Anyways, I'm just hoping that they make it the Yost improvement project at the top priority. And the reason I think that it might need to be put even as urgent is because of things like economic development, growing our town. It's hard to grow a town when you can't get water. You can't build people when you can't give them the product. And so that's a problem. For new water expansion, should be an investment for Stillwater. If we can provide the meters, but I can't develop, but it's not just for me, it's for many, many others. Even my parents, I'm kind of jumping around, my parents have a house out there, and many times, I don't mean 20, but probably 10, 15, my mother comes to town, and this is a true story, and she's got soap in her hair, and I'm like, what is that about? This is true. And the water was such low pressure, she couldn't take a shower. So, I mean, in the middle of the shower, it goes off. And so that's happened numerous times. And okay. And so I think it's about not breaking the law as far as the DEQ is involved. The DEQ, I believe, has a minimum requirement of 25 PSI. And that's rarely at my parents' house. Now, I say my parents, they're one of the higher elevations. That's why. But many people are affected by this. And if you want to grow the town, I feel like we're losing to Morrison and Perkins and Perry sometimes, and we shouldn't lose. We've got a huge town compared to them. But if you had somebody that works at Toro, for instance, or Ditch Witch, they would live north of Stillwater. They're not going to live south of Stillwater, but we can't develop the area. It's just locked. So, there's other things that are very important, and you're probably more aware of them than I am. But certainly this shouldn't be bottom. And I can't develop, and other people can't develop. Obviously, I'm redundant here, without without the available water meters. And so, let's see. I had some other things. Well, yeah, it's the law. I think I'm about done. I'm just all over the place. But it's an investment. I mean, if you have an investment, you want a return on the investment. And I've heard many people say it's too risky, we don't want to do that. But developers can't come. It's not a risk. They can't put it in themselves. So if you want to develop rural, which bleeds into Stillwater, I mean, you know, if they're living here, we can develop houses. They'll have houses to buy. They can come in and buy goods and services. I mean, surely you all understand better than I do how that works. So I guess I'm at the end. Thank you for letting me speak.
Appreciate your comments. Thanks for being here. Bill Furman?
I haven't had the privilege of speaking to Skings crowd like this in about 20 years. I'm going to give you a little boring history here. I'm going to go fast because I got a little more than he does. Thank you for letting us be here. I'm representing Albert Furman Trust, Furman Rental Properties, and I'm a new member on the advisory board, but I don't want to talk to you about the advisory board. I want to talk to you about as a member in good standing with our rural water. My family's been here in Payne County for 118 years. We've been on the same property for 118 years. My grandfather homesteaded here in 1905. Of course, the property has been dispersed. There's been many developments. We're looking for more development. We have an issue with the water situation. Without water, you can't develop. We all know that. In 1970, my grandfather became the 26th member of the Rural Water Board. Was there until 1977, where my family purchased another 10 meters. To this date, we've been on the water board, a member of the Rural Water for 53 years. In this 53 years, we spent approximately $174,800 buying water from the city of Stillwater. And we appreciate it because there's no whales on our property, I promise you. This is a blessing to us, and it's still a blessing to us, but it's become a thorn in our side. There's projects next to me, 160 acres, that's been bulldozed. The Atkinsons, who is a family that's been here 80 to 100 years, the two sons are wanting to develop their property. Unbeknown to them, I helped them build the roads, and I visited with them about the water issue. We've got Mr. Cook on the other section up there. He lost a land sale because he couldn't get water, a lucrative land sale. We've got Mrs. Davenport, one of my really nice neighbors next door. Thank you, city. She finally got her first water meter that she ordered in 2020. It only took 4 years. And she is ecstatic, believe me. She really is. And she wanted me to tell you, thank you. She's needing another water meter on Country Club, still on our old homestead. This is the problem we're having out there. It's just, we can't go forward. Our family's wanting to build some duplexes. I am not here for my family. My neighbors are coming to me left and right. Water. We've got to have water. Again, you heard about the leaks. There were 7 leaks from my property to the Yost station in the summer. It took me 2 months to get somebody out there to work on them. When the guys showed up, they were excellent. They were excellent. The guys come in, and they did a good job. The reason I'm here is I want to draw attention to these 2 reports that Stephen and Robert have done. Folks, these are not opinions. This is the hard facts in these reports. These guys have taken a lot of time. Your people toured them, took the gracious time to go with them, show them what was good, what was bad. So I'm asking you, please get on our team. Please take some time with this reports. Folks, we need your help. We really do. And I thank you very much.
Thank you for
and
being
congratulations on getting the money from the feds. Let's get some more.
There's nothing wrong with the water system that a little money can't fix, right?
A lot of money.
Appreciate you being here. We appreciate the reports and look forward to hearing more from staff in future meetings about what we can do to bring some of that about. So thank you for being here. All right, item 5B is consider a bid award for the recovered water pump station and finished water pump station project to Crossland Heavy Crossland Heavy Equipment in the amount of $25,627,000 and approve associated budget amendments appropriating $20,351,768 for the project. Mr. Humes?
Thank you. Good evening, trustees. My name is Chris Humes. I'm with the City of Stillwater's Engineering Department, and I'm here tonight to present the construction bids for the recovered water and finished water pump stations construction project. So the two pictures you see here are the existing recovered water pump station and the finished water pump station, which is on the right. These were constructed and placed in service in 1985. These facilities have safely moved over 90 billion gallons of water in the past 38 years. But as you can see, they're looking a little tired. Because of their age, they require frequent maintenance and parts have become difficult to obtain. In addition, these pumps cannot meet the projected future demands for the city of Stillwater and the surrounding areas. This project consists of building a new recovered water and finished water pump station designed to move 24 million gallons per day and expandable to 30 million gallons per day. This will also include the long-term solution for the northeast zone by building a permanent facility to take the place of the Yost pump station. Current plan is to kick this project off in Q1 of 2024 and then place it in service by Q1 of 2026. So ultimately, this project will be funded with an ARPA grant and an existing loan from the Oklahoma Water Resource Board for Water 2040, and then a new loan that was just approved by the OWRB on November 30th of 2023. The total expenditures of $28,618,460 break down as follows: $25,627,000 for the construction bid, an additional $2.562,700 million for 10% contingency, and then $393,760 for third-party inspection services, and then an additional $35,000 for inspection services and testing. The loan approved by the OWRB on November 30th, 2023 is scheduled to close later this month. Until that loan is closed, a portion of the project will be funded by the Water Fund. So with that, I'll open it up for questions.
Trustees, questions? I think it's, well, as I said a second ago, there's nothing wrong with our water system that a little money won't fix. But as we can see, $25, $26 million to replace pumps. There's a lot of projects that cost a lot of money that we're working on here. This will address at some level some of the issues that were brought up by our friends in the Rural Water District, correct?
Absolutely. So actually next in Q1 of 2024, we're rebuilding the Yost pump station. We're going to spend $100,000 there to replace the pumps and put in a VFD system there. That'll get us until this project is done a couple of years later. So that's a 2 to 3 year solution. And then when we build this nice new finished water pump station, it'll have 3 pumps dedicated just to the Yost zone. And so that's the long-term solution. So
Thank you.
I think the other thing that makes it challenging is you're doing all this work while you're trying to provide water to the city of Stillwater in the area while you're also doing this major construction project.
Yeah. Further questions, trustees?
You mentioned that you could extend the capacity from 26 to 30 million on
Yes.
this project?
Yes.
What will that expansion take?
So so the project will have these are vertical can pumps, so they're multi-stage pumps that have stages stacked on top of each other. So the cans, and so a lot of the piping and the canned pumps will be for the 30 million, but the pumps themselves would have to be upgraded to get to 30. So it's just looking ahead at the things that would make it easier to step up from the 24 up to the 30.
What's your recommendation for us, Chris?
Staff recommends a motion to award a unit price contract to Crossland Heavy Contractors Incorporated for the base bid of $25,627,000 and authorize the general manager to sign related documents. Authorize total construction expenditures of $28,618,460 for construction, inspection, testing, and contingency, and approve a budget amendment appropriating $20,351,768 for the project.
Thanks, sir. Trustees,
I move to approve staff recommendation.
Second.
we have a motion and a second to approve the staff's recommendation. Please vote. That item is approved with a vote of 5-0. All right, that takes us to item 6 on the agenda, which is something also related to water. This is Resolution SUA 2023-9, a resolution authorizing a loan from the Oklahoma Water Resources Board in the principal amount of $37 million, authorizing the issuance of a Series 2023 Drinking Water SRF promissory note in the principal amount of said loan, approving and authorizing the execution of a loan agreement for drinking water SRF loan and security agreement pertaining to said promissory note, ratifying and confirming a lease agreement, an operation and maintenance contract, and a sales tax agreement with the City of Stillwater, approving and authorizing payment of fees and expenses, approving various covenants, and authorizing execution of other documents pertaining to said loan and containing other provisions relating thereto. This is the authorization related to the OWRB water loan. Further comments from City Attorney? Nobody?
If you have any specific questions about the loan, our bond counsel, Don Kaiser, is here and he'd be happy to answer those.
For those who aren't very well versed in drinking water loans, this is a state program that allows for a revolving fund for us to be able to secure this money at a reasonable rate and go out and do these projects. So it's good that the state has this money available for these kinds of loans. Questions about the resolution, trustees, or action on the item?
Motion to adopt resolution SUA 2023-9.
Second.
With a motion and a second to adopt the resolution, please vote. With a vote of 5-0, that resolution is approved. We have nothing further on the SUA agenda. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
With a motion and a second to adjourn the Stillwater Utilities Authority, please vote. With a vote of 5-0, the Stillwater Utilities Authority meeting is now adjourned.